Operation Honor, again, is an event sponsored by the American Legion Post 50 from Blue Island, honoring the men and women who've served and are serving the armed forces and the people who've made the ultimate sacrifice. We have military vehicles here in display, events for the family. It's all family-oriented so that families get to know the sacrifices that our men and women in the armed forces do for us every single day, now and in the past.
What we have here is a setup of an actual camp that would have been in Vietnam in the late 60s, early 70s. We have a medical tent inside where we have all the medical gear. We have a stretcher there where we would have treated and evacuated wounded from here.
That is a lot more power to it than it used to. A lot of GIs needed this stuff.
It's open to the public. They can see. They're more than welcome to come in and ask questions. We're all well versed in what the tactics were and what equipment was carried by the American soldiers during the Vietnam War. As you can see, I'm wearing the load-bearing equipment, and I'm one of the few that carry a Tomahawk, which was pretty much specific to a lot of the airborne units that were over there.
We have a lot more uniforms too. I couldn't take all of them. So yeah, the Historical Society is out at Operation Honor. So we're featuring 4 service members from Blue Island that served in World Wars I and II. So from World War I, William Schimmel was a native Blue Islander. He was born, raised, lived, and died here. Carl Benzing, who served in World War I as well. World War II, Frank Travis, who served from Blue Island. And Roy Kinsman, who was in the Navy, served in World War II as well. All these uniforms and artifacts and pictures were donated by the family members of these guys, and we're lucky enough to have them. So we just kind of wanted to bring these out, show the public, and bring a little bit of context to it as well, and kind of tell the stories of these guys. Where they came from in Blue Island, where they went when they went overseas, and what they did when they came back to Blue Island too, and how they continued to be active members of our community after they came back from war too.
The club is called Suburban Aero Club of Chicago, and it is the oldest model airplane club in the southland of the Chicago area. Well, many of our members are veterans, and one of our members is a member of the American Legion Post that organizes the event. And so for several years now, our club has been participating. He coordinates with the organizers of the event, and we've been coming along and doing a display. We do a static display. Most of these models you see in front of you are too big to fly in the space that we have available here. So we're just doing a static display. We have a few small models, and if the wind cooperates, we may be able to fly the smaller models later on during the afternoon.
The money that we raise, we donate to a couple of military veteran-type charities. One of them is Operation Care Package in Joliet that sends care packages to deployed troops. The other one is Canines for Veterans, and we have successfully, in the last couple of years, we've paid for 2 service dogs for veterans with PTSD. And when they're awarded the dogs, the veterans are awarded the dogs, it's free, and we pay, Canines pays for the medical expenses and the food for the life of the dog. Our service dogs are trained to do things like open doors, to turn on and off lights, to retrieve things from the floor with a veteran that has trouble bending over. Some of the big things they do is veterans, especially from Iraq and Afghanistan, do not like going into an empty house, because when they were serving, they had to clear the houses before they would go in. The dog is like their battle buddy. The dog can go into the house first, go through and check it out, and if there's nothing wrong, go back and get the veteran and go in. That's a big thing for them.
Down. Now wait.
A lot of veterans can't have somebody behind them. And you know how it goes. If you go into the post office, when you get to the front of the line, everybody else is standing behind you. It makes the veterans very, very nervous, very hyper. the dogs are trained to stay behind them and keep people away.
Veterans, especially the ones that go off to war, like Iraq and Afghanistan, they come back and their minds are pretty well screwed out, and some of them. And 22 vets a day commit suicide because of difficulties that they have readjusting to civilian life. So the service dogs help them. They can identify if they're going to have a seizure or if they're having a bad day, and that's what it's all about, is to try to help these vets. We can't do anything for the vets that have lost their lives in war, but we can certainly help the ones that came back.